Hello, Cancer Moon. Your love angel is Muriel. Tuning into the feelings of others is your pride. Reliable, generous people are your tribe. And sharing your hard-won possessions with others is your bribe. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. Thank you for joining us. Cancer Moon has a very rich, inner, emotional, and spiritual life. You're reflective by nature. You have a dark side and you have a bright side. The dark side of the moon is something people really don't want to experience. However, that's where a lot of your mystery and your riches lie, is on that forgotten, deep mystery of the dark side of the moon. And it's very important. It's an important factor in your personality. You want your relationships to be secure. You feel better in romance with people that you know, familiar faces. You want to know you're in good and safe hands with your love life and your romantic relationships. Your relationships are investments to you. You feel you put a certain amount of time and energy into people, and you want to get the rewards from those relationships. At least you want their loyalty, their time, their understanding, and you try very hard to tune into their feelings and again reflect back to them what you think they want. Now, an important thing to remember here is that you're subtle in your dealings with people, and if other people just can't seem to take a hint, that's because you're being subtle. And some people need to just be told straight out exactly what's expected of them. And because of this is often times the reason that the lunar crab gets maybe falsely accused of being manipulative or having tricky tactics, when all they were trying to do was reflect back to somebody what the other person was doing in order to sort of play along and in order to sort of give people what you think they want. Now, what's interesting and what's obvious is that when you see colors in the moon, they're not the true colors that are reflected by the sun. So like various colors will seem different, have a different hue to them in the moonlight than they are going to or in the starlight on a dark moon than the sunlight. So what you need to understand is you're not reflecting back exactly what you're being given. You're reflecting back your version of what's being given, and therefore people are reacting to, they feel mocked. But mock can often be helpful in helping people learn how to be a little more tolerant of others, and that's helpful. Now, you like others to be more open with their feelings, and you like people to come from their heart, and you're not really going to deal with people in business or your friendship, or your love life for that matter, who don't touch your heart. You want to know that you've touched their heart, and then that way you can be sure that you have their heart. At this point, people may feel that you're, trying to dominate them or tell them what to do. And this is easily understood in that Cancer Moon would have a very maternal way of dealing with people, where Cancer Sun may have a way of dealing with people that's more like how a son would treat those he cares about. Cancer Moon is more maternal. Now, obviously, Cancer Sun is maternal more than other signs of the zodiac, but we're talking about the difference between Cancer Sun and Cancer Moon. Obviously, Cancer Sun has a more masculine quality. That's all we're saying. So Cancer Moon is the quintessence of femininity, of the female spirit. And of course, the male spirit runs through the female body, and the female spirit runs through the male body, or we wouldn't have manifestation, because nothing can exist in all light or all dark. So there has to be a little bit of light on the dark side of the moon, and there has to be a little bit of darkness on the bright side of the moon. Now, Cancer Moon is a place that likes to make people feel serene and likes to make people feel soothed, and really would much rather be involved in jobs and careers where they can make hospitable environments and landscapes, where they can make things hospitable. So you would be good at running a restaurant. You would be good at interior design, these kinds of things, because Cancer Moon is all about the home and how to make the home extremely warm and extremely nurturing. And now others, again, might not understand that your zany antics meant to make them laugh. They might not get it. They may not get what you're trying to accomplish with, trying to amuse them. Now, people do find Cancer Moon very amusing and very entertaining and funny. But again, sometimes the humor might go on to the dark side because of the dark side of the moon aspect. Sometimes on the bright side, sometimes on the dark side. And that might make people tend to get a little suspicious about what your intentions are. And so again, when this happens, you have to be more direct with people so they understand exactly where you're coming from. Because the moon travels so quickly through all the signs of the zodiac, and the moon waxes and wanes so much, it's so changeable, that people, don't feel that secure in their relationships with you. And the people who will feel secure with you are those who have a very nurturing aspect in themselves and are more service to others and want to nurture you. People who want to nurture themselves and are service to self aren't really going to be much good to you, and it's not really going to mix too well. So, everybody again has to have a little of everything, a little service to self, a little service to others. But this is the point where we all have to be able to tolerate each other and tolerate other people's ideas and allow others their expression, allow people to entertain us in their way. And this is where your relationships, again, at work or in business or with your family or your significant others, you're extremely sensitive. You have extreme sensitivity. And again, your goal is to make others happy. And others might think you're being manipulative. Now, people may not want to show you their feelings. They may not want to be so discovered. People may want to have a little privacy. And what they feel when Cancer Moon is coming at them in any kind of relationship or situation, they feel that, people feel that you, Cancer Moon, are sort of violating is the only word I can think of. Violating. That you're violating their personal boundaries. And that you want to come in and know everything they feel and then tell them how they feel and tell others how they feel. All of this, we're going to have everybody know everything about everybody all the time. That doesn't really matter. There's good and bad to that. And with modern communications, of course, there's more of a chance to go ahead and expose everything to everybody all the time. Or, the other side of the coin, since you have a light and a dark side, is that when people know that their every move is being watched, they behave better. So when your mom used to tell you, God is watching, so do what God tells you, now that's true. And it probably was always true on some level. But, you know, there's a lot of areas we could go into here about how we could be being watched by other more advanced civilizations that may be based on the moon. Anything's possible, right? We live in a universe where anything's possible. So, with that said, possibly it was always that way. But from this point on, if you feel that with technology being the way it is today, and of course with every generation people say that over and over again, but it seems more true now than ever that we are all more connected, and people want to share, and people want authenticity. But just what you need to understand with others is that if you are authentic with them, they're more apt to be authentic with you. But that you're probably doing the very best you can. Because what does Cancer Moon do? It takes the light of the sun and reflects it to other people. And in that, you're in full service to the sun. And light illuminating the night. But sometimes the light cannot be illuminated, because then you would have no place for movement. If there is no place of darkness, then there can be no movement, because there can be no attainment without some empty space for something to move into. For example, in our class on Merkaba, we talk about how the Kabbalah, has to have a place to move. And if you go into the sacred geometry of the Merkaba, you can see how without, it's sort of like it's just like a mechanism. Without this built into the system, the darkness built into the system, you can't have any movement. Without any movement, you can't have any life. Not the kind of life that we know. So there can only be sort of a sense of things. But the only way you can sense anything or be conscious of anything is to have a lack, which again is an empty space. So you see, no matter whether you're talking about just somebody's sensing something, or thinking something, you have to have a space in which a thought can exist, or you have nothing. So this is an ancient debate, which maybe right now is not the time to go fully into that, but you understand that this Cancer Moon is an aspect which in the Kabbalah writings that I've seen, which are very secretive, it's actually said to be the location, or what you see when you look into hell. But there's various and sundry definitions for hell, like the goddess Hel, the Norse goddess Hel. She resided over a cold area. So there's various aspects of what people think they're entering into when they enter into something that is considered to be hell. Is it frozen? Is it a lake of fire? Is it just simply places where the human body, where the physical body is not comfortable, but still part of the physical universe? So are we talking about something that is spiritual, or are we talking about something physical? And right here is where Cancer Moon can understand that the spiritual and the physical are linked. And the creator and the creature are linked. And Cancer Moon is the place where Jesus Christ had to descend into before he ascended into heaven. In other words, he had to understand what it was like to be on the dark side of the moon. Okay, this was heavier, if truly heavier than we had planned, than we had anticipated, but we let the Cancer angel Muriel come through to speak, because Cancer moon is a deeply spiritual and intelligent sign that likes expansive ideas with which to, deal with that extra dark side of the moon mystery that you have to offer. All right, Cancer moon, thank you for joining us. And stay tuned, because we're going to be doing more planets in Cancer. I'm Pastor Rosemary, Astrology Angel. Thank you for joining us.